The only things you keep are the things you give away. Find out who said that and its current day significance. Coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Myrtle Beach Herald. We're focused on the 13th annual American Heart Walk to be held Broadway at the Beach on October 16th. And we're visiting with Danny Nicholson, one of the active volunteers in this year's walk. Good morning, Danny.
Hey, Greg, nice to be with you.
Thank you so much for coming in. I'm excited to say we can also talk about Coastal Carolina University and some of the amazing things y'all are doing after your 2-year stint there. You're probably pretty easy to talk about it now.
Well, we're really excited about what's going on at the university. It's postured right now to move to a new level of excellence, and with our exploding enrollment, the new football program, and our 50th anniversary celebration, all those things have merged together, and there's quite a lot of excitement in the air about where we're headed.
How are y'all able to grow so much, Danny? What is going on? What is it about Coastal that makes folks want to travel from all over the world?
You know,
to be here?
There's lots of things. I mean, our marine science program, the ocean is our friend. Right. You know, as we do research on that subject, we increase the quality of life for everybody on the coast.
Right.
You've got an expanding quality sports program that continues to grow. Football has only enhanced that, and our academic programs are really at a high level of excellence. The university continues to grow in every way in our academic area. We have special faculty. We have faculty that focus on people, who spend time with students, who really care about the educational process. So there's just, Greg, lots of reasons why the university is just moving to an unprecedented level.
You know, as you know, the bulk of our viewers are in the PD in southeastern North Carolina. Less than a third of our viewers are here in Horry County. And so a lot of folks may not have ever visited Coastal's main campus or any of their campuses. If a viewer was coming down, obviously, from Lumberton and were traveling down 501, they could easily get to the campus. There's a stoplight there.
Absolutely. It's a hidden treasure.
Yeah.
If you look from 501 or 544, you can't see what's behind. But if you take a right or left in there and move through the campus, it's an incredibly beautiful green space, brick buildings, a wonderful campus. We're very proud of how it looks. In fact, just the other day, we dedicated a bell tower. Harvey Graham's family in Loris dedicated a beautiful Carillon bell tower that has enhanced the image of our university. The sounds of the bells are ringing, and it's added to a beautiful campus that we already have.
I saw a great picture of that in the Herald last week. It was a great-looking shot.
Yeah, we appreciated the Graham family helping us so much.
There's a ton of folks out there supporting, and the Grahams are amazing. So many folks wrapping around Coastal Carolina University right now, and the great thing is to see so many non-alums or even non-college graduates or non-college students wrapping around because they recognize the ability, if there's a good quality community university and college, and the amazing strength of Horry Georgetown Tech now in this community giving back, but a great university that has lots of postgraduate education stuff. I mean, it really sets the stage for growth in this area.
Well, it's exciting. You know, tomorrow we've moved through an industrial economy, and we're moving into a knowledge economy. Right. And the future holds a lot of development, economic development and other ways around knowledge, around the university. And in the context of the campaign that we're currently working with, we're telling others, as Coastal grows, so will the area, because there's so many ties to education and economic development. And so we're excited to be a leader. We're a winner right now, and I think people are enjoying being a part of a winner and connecting with us and making some investments that have literally begun to transform some of the programs and things that we're doing. It's an exciting time at the university.
Obviously, in your position as Vice President of Universities, University Advancement? Okay, in a development sense, I mean, you're obviously talking to a lot of folks who are already interested in supporting Coastal. It is just at what level they're going to be supporting it. Oftentimes, you know, there's that component of when you recognize, when folks hear about Coastal Carolina University and they hear it's in Conway, South Carolina, they're trying to figure out, well, what's the coast of Conway?
Right.
Why would it, I mean, you know, as opposed to Myrtle Beach or something like that? I mean, you know, do you ever find that folks are that Coastal Carolina name so great?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you think of Nags Head down to Hilton Head, the ability to take advantage of, and it's not state specific. It's not coastal South Carolina, coastal North Carolina, but coastal Carolina. What a great name.
It really has drawn a lot of interest, and there's people, right now we have students from 48 different states,
Right.
47 different countries. The context of the university has just been changing with with influx of all kinds of people. Of course, our primary focus still is the local student.
Right.
Coastal was born to take care of the sons and daughters of Horry County.
Wow.
We have not missed focusing on that mission and making sure that folks have access, students have access to having a better quality of life and getting an education. So that was an important part of our core nucleus, who we are.
Right.
And Ron Engel, our president, who continues to do an incredible job at leading this university, has made sure that we've stayed focused on access. We make sure students in these parts have the opportunity to come and better their lives.
He is really working on that. I'm seeing that much more right now. And of course, later this week, Marilyn, Dr. Four, who's the Vice President of Academic Affairs, Executive VP there at Horry Georgetown Tech, you know, looking forward to hearing her talk about some of the expansive growth. Y'all are both that's why I wonder, how can these two institutions, but obviously y'all in the postgraduate sense, how can y'all continue to grow at such an explosive rate?
Well, I'm glad to say that, you know, I've only been here a little under 2 years, but ever since I showed up at Coastal Carolina University, the conversation at the across the campus is that we have a wonderful partnership with Horry Georgetown Tech. That we work together, that we make sure. In fact, it may be one of the best partnerships in higher education in the state.
I bet.
Because we just have a relationship where they prepare students to come to us, or we steer students there. You know, there's a good working relationship, and collaboration today is extremely important. We don't have time in this world to compete the way we have. And of course, you have to compete in business, and you have to do things to be the best and to be a winner. But the truth is, we gain more, Greg, by finding each other's strengths and weaknesses and working together. And we've done that with Horry Georgetown Tech, and I'm proud of that relationship.
Absolutely. Much like y'all's involvement this year, as in every year, with the Heart Walk. And the involvement with the Heart Association, whether it's the ride-a-thon, the horseback ride-a-thon, which has been down here 20-some years down on the beach, thanks to Jack Monroe and so many other volunteers, or the annual gala that's held. But, of course, the Heart Walk is so exciting. A couple of years ago when Ron Engel, your president, was chairing it, and seeing David Bennett and the team, getting all those folks out there last year, and the excitement of having the team and all the athletes out there. Obviously, David's excitement about that. It's been amazing to see y'all's input. And, of course, to know that you've been stepping out and really getting active this year, having only been here a little less than 2 years.
Well, it's an important cause. It's extremely important, and I have a personal experience with being involved with this. My father's a heart transplant recipient.
A heart transplant?
Right.
Really?
He is. And so when I was asked to be a part of this, I raised my hand eagerly because, indeed, it's important. The research, talented physicians, all the monies that are put into the Heart Association are the reason why my daddy is still alive. And so being a part of this has not only it makes sense to help and to be engaged with the community, and for Coastal to make sure that we're a part of these kinds of things, but also I have a personal heartfelt story that inspires me and motivates me to be a part.
Daniel, do you feel comfortable sharing with the viewers a little bit about that? The process of your father, you said getting a heart transplant. I had no idea that he'd gotten a transplant. Someone with the Heart Association said, you got to talk to Danny Nicholson. He'll be a good guest to really pump up the Heart Walk.
Well, I would be glad. I mean, it's something that he's 13 years old. He received his heart in 1991. We have a little place in Garden City that we've spent the summers, and I'll never forget being there the weekend that he was pretty much sleeping all the time. He really couldn't get out of bed. My mother and I finally took him back to the hospital, and they told me that night that if we did not find a heart, that my father's heart was currently working at 23% capacity, and that if a heart was not found, that of course my dad would die. The prospect of losing someone you love is never easy, and so that night we went to sleep thinking that if something miraculous didn't happen, that we may lose someone that we love dearly. I'll never forget the phone ringing that next morning like the alarm clock. I answered it, and on the other end was an individual saying, "We have found your dad a heart.
Wow.
Please get to Charlotte as soon as possible." We had the surgery done in Charlotte, North Carolina, which is our heart transplant center. My mother and I went straight to Charlotte. We met my dad there. He went into surgery and stayed in surgery all night. The doctor came out the next morning and said that the fit and the blood type was perfect. The operation had gone wonderfully. And 7 days later, Greg, my father walked out of that hospital with a brand new heart, brand new life. And now 13 years later, he knows my children, works in his garden, does all the things he loves, and we've been extremely blessed and fortunate to have him with us and to enjoy him. Probably the icing on the cake to that story is that there was a 19-year-old boy that died on a motorcycle accident the night before,
Wow.
who had marked his card, who had given freely of his organs.
Wow.
And at that exact moment, when my father's greatest need, that young boy died, and
Right.
my dad got his heart and has lived for 13 years. It's an incredible thing, incredible gift.
That is an amazing story. Golly, I had no idea the impact of that. I mean, I didn't know what it was that your father experienced. Obviously, thinking it was an open heart bypass or something, but actual heart transplant. That's incredible.
Well, the thought of taking a heart out
yeah.
and putting one in, and
Right.
for all of that to work, and for him to have an extended life of 13 years,
Right.
it's just unimaginable.
Your
And
dad's
so,
doing well now, Dan.
doing great.
Really?
Whatever he wants to do, he cuts the grass.
Oh, my Lord.
He all his hobbies.
Probably
and-
got stronger hearts than you and I have.
Well, when he first got the heart, we said we were going to have to get my mother one to keep up with.
Oh,
it,
yeah.
you know.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
But it's been a wonderful thing. In fact, yesterday I was in Hartsville. Governor Sanford was in Hartsville speaking with the civic clubs, and he presented my father the Silver Crescent Certificate for his courage
Wow.
through this process and for the compassion he's shown in our community of Hartsville. So I'm not the only one proud of my dad.
Yeah.
There are lots of folks who are honoring him because of what he's gone through and
Oh,
how
yeah.
well he's done, and I'm proud of him.
And how apropos from the community of Hartsville that they're recognizing heart transplant. That's fantastic. Yeah, a little different spelling there, but amazing commitment there. And of course, Hartsville, that gives an opportunity. Are you originally from the area, Dan?
Born and raised in Hartsville,
Great.
from the good PD region.
Yeah.
And of course went to Hartsville High School, and always speak highly of Hartsville. I was back at Coker College for an appointment for a while in development.
Yeah.
And enjoyed working there, and just loved that area. It's home.
You were there for 10 years, I think I saw,
Yeah,
from
I
90
was.
to 2000. That's amazing. You've kept your youth well, Dan.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I do. I've been doing this work for 20 years, and been at 4 different institutions, and I've stayed in it because I really love, Greg, seeing needs and resources come together, and to see young people and their potential realized because of the effort of others who care and who are generous. And that's been why I've stayed in this work and why I love it so much.
I think I saw you start at Charleston Southern and stayed at Charleston Southern in a different position even, then Coker, and obviously the thrill of being at MUSC, you know, starting down in Charleston, going to back home to Hartsville, heading back to Charleston, and now you're covering the state pretty well. You haven't hit the Midlands and the Upstate yet, but hopefully you'll be here for a long time. That's
Well,
right.
I enjoyed being at the medical university because it gave me the opportunity to raise money for exactly what we're
Sure.
talking about with the
Heart
Heart
centers and
Association.
otherwise, yeah.
Because, you know, if the gap between saving people's lives
Right.
has to do with each person doing what they can to make sure that the research and the talented physicians and the things that we need to continue to grow in this, if it's just you and I doing the best we can to raise money, the gift of my father is perfect, is great evidence that it works. So I would just, say the reason I'm involved is I would like all the viewers to just think about the thought of your loved one being in that position. And, what can you do to be proactive, to think ahead, to make sure that everything's in place so when you need it, it's there.
Danny, Pat Al was with us, one of the co-chairs with Tony Cox for the walk this year from Horry Electric Co-op. He was with us about a month ago. And I asked him what the goal was. He said $200,000 is the goal. He said, but if we raise $2 million, it's not enough.
Right.
It's just not enough. Making an effort to get out there, of course, $100 gets you a T-shirt. The opportunity to get associated, 2,500 or more folks out there. Obviously, 2,500 people last year. We had a goal of 115,000 last year and raised 172.
Yeah.
The Heart Association, when it's the #1 and #3 killers in America, #1 and #3 killer, heart and stroke, you know you're in a good place supporting. It's like supporting a university like Coastal Carolina University.
Absolutely. And one of the things that we fail to do, I think, Greg, sometimes is really stop in our busy lives, pause, and think about the significance of these kinds of efforts. Sometimes we sort of turn our head to these things because everybody wants something, everybody's asking for something. But I would encourage people to stop for a moment and think about the consequences of what could happen if it's your dad or your mom or your kid,
Your child.
who in that moment, maybe even a day between life and death, could live because of the research and the good physicians and the money that we give. So it's important to stop and think of the significance and how much it means.
You know, I know it doesn't tie in whatsoever, but you always think about the impact that 19-year-old and who gave him the courage or the advice at an early age to say, hey, son, you may want to fill that out, check off the heart. You know, you go back to his parents or his grandparents or somebody, and the amazing factor there, I don't know if you all have ever communicated. I guess they may not have ever even told you who it was other than you got a new heart.
Right, we don't. We knew, you know, that it was a 19-year-old boy who died on a motorcycle, but we never have met the person. But be assured that there's been many a time when I watched my dad play with my children, that I've really thanked God for that individual and for his commitment to help someone else live, even if he couldn't.
Yeah, how powerful, Danny. Golly, that's moving. We can almost stop the interview right there. That's not much more of an incentive to help out the Heart Association. There's so many ways to help the Heart Walk. You know, the great thing is, if you're not on a team already, you can join any team. You can join the Coastal Carolina University team.
Call us up.
The Danny Nicholson team.
We'll put you in the ballgame.
If a viewer was interested in learning more about Coastal or even joining the Coastal team, what would be the best number they could call?
Well, they could call 349-2010.
Okay.
And we would be glad to help them and have them be involved with our efforts. Of course, we've got the sports programs, football, the cheerleaders. We're having a chicken bog in the fall on campus, and we're having a meeting next week with about 25 members of our team that are going to be creatively brainstorming on how we can get this message out and how we can get the university activated in a strong way. So Coastal is fully in and wanting to work to make this as successful as it can be.
Today is Monday the 27th. We're less than 3 weeks from the walk. Less than 3 weeks. Saturday, October 16th. Of course, part of the thrill is getting out there a little earlier this year. The move to Broadway at the Beach. We've had it at the Pavilion for 12 years. This is the first year to a new location. It's the idea of not having as much stress out on the beach. A lot of folks pushing the baby carts, and it was just too much work. The thrill about being out at Broadway is even more exciting because that opportunity to be at Ripley's, to get out there early and go through Ripley's Aquarium before they open to the public. To get for a $10 donation, you get a Ripley's T-shirt, you get donuts, heart-healthy donuts from Krispy Kreme, and get out there and take a tour of Ripley's.
Sounds like a winner to me. And, of course, that's an exciting area now, a lot of energy around that area. Things are growing and expanding. And so hopefully being in that location will inspire us to move to greater levels. So I'm looking forward to be a part of it.
What is it about, of course, you talked about that resources and needs coming together.
Yeah.
When you think about 20 years now and in working with universities, whether it's Charleston Southern or Coker College or obviously MUSC or now Coastal Carolina University, seeing those resources and needs, how do you go about reaching folks and letting them know about some of those needs? What are some of the ways that you interrelate to folks in our community, Danny?
Well, you know, the truth is, Greg, is that it's all about people. It's all about relationships. And I could go through a litany of wonderful investments that we've received in our 50th anniversary campaign that are tied to meaningful relationships. For instance, I could just move through this and talk about the reason Bob Brooks wanted to name our stadium is because he really does care about local students. He really wanted to do something for the university to energize it, to build our community. He cares about his home people in Loris and this surrounding area. I could talk about Nelson and Mary Emily Jackson, who wanted to create a Values and Ethics Center because they care about a legacy of teaching students what's right and what's wrong. I could talk about Brenda Spadoni and Spud Spadoni and Julia and their family for naming the College of Education And the reason Brenda and Spud wanted to do that with their family is because they care about the future of students and teachers and molding and shaping a better world. I could just move through all these major investments of people who have really come to the table because they care about students, care about us having a better life, and believe that higher education can make that kind of difference in students' lives. So it's really about people. It's really about relationships, and it's wanting to be a part of making the world a better place to live.
Speaking of that, speaking of people and community service are just interrelating. I saw in a little piece about you, Danny, an incredible litany of community service projects that you've been involved in, whether in the PD, in the Low Country, even now, obviously, your involvement with the Heart Association. But to see some of those, it's difficult to pull out any to talk to you about. Obviously, viewers want to learn about you and what you're involved in. I saw one that sparked interest, South Carolina Leadership for the South Carolina Chamber of Commerce. Can you share with the viewers real quick what that was about? We got about 5 minutes.
Great. Excellent program that about 30, 40 people a year are put into a year-long process where you visit different entities across the state that deal with social services, education, business development, and you learned every facet of South Carolina so that we can begin to build leaders to make good decisions, to help address the issues and challenges of the future. South Carolina's not alone in having many issues to face and to try to tackle. And this is a wonderful collaborative way of educating leadership and making sure that there are connections in the future so people can work together, get around those problems, and solve them. So it was a great opportunity. I would do it again.
Must have been.
It was a wonderful opportunity.
Do you all use the internet much to reach potential folks to support the university? Coastal.edu. Do a lot of folks visit www.coastal.edu to learn about the university?
As you know, that has become a strengthened medium of communication, and it has for our university too. Very proud of our website, and we'd love people to visit. You can see all about our sports and academic areas and all the things that we're doing at the university on the website. And like everything else, it has strengthened, 3, 4, 5 times in the past couple of years. And so we're real excited about the fact that we do educate a lot of people out there, students. You know, if you come to Myrtle Beach in the summer, or you come to Conway, or you come to the area and you go back home to New Jersey, or wherever you are, you might want to check out something. A lot of people go there to take a look at what's going on, and of course local people do too. So,
absolutely.
It's a perfect medium for communication.
You pointed out, and we just got a couple minutes, I want to say your folks are in Hartsville.
Yes.
You have family with you here on the Strand, Dan.
I do, and my wife Deborah, and Bryson, my 11-year-old, and my son Taylor, who's 15. And we reside in Pawleys Island, which is on the south end, real quiet, great schools, and we've really enjoyed being there. So we love the coast.
You really take advantage of coastal Carolina there.
Love the coast.
Give the flair when you drive to Conway on a regular basis. Real quick, for viewers who may not have either seen on the other side of Brooks Stadium or come in off of 501, we got 2 minutes, Danny. Can you just give folks, and of course we'll wrap at the Heart Association, but give them a sense of what's behind there. If they took a right into Coastal at that stoplight on 501, if they took a right in, if they were coming in, as you said, from the PD, if they're coming in from Hartsville for the weekend, want to pop in and take a look at Coastal, what are they going to see?
Sure. Well, first of all, on their right, as they come in, they'll see the brand new Graham Bell Tower. To your right, in Spadoni Park, there is a beautiful place, the green space there in the middle, in the middle of Wheelwright Auditorium and our Student Center. As you move around the corner there, you would see the Craig Wall Business School, which is an impressive building and a wonderful program, and that's gaining national reputation as we speak. It really is doing a great job. If you move around, you come to the Horseshoe, which is where our building, Athenaeum Hall, is, across from the Spadoni College of Education. Singleton Building is where the President's office is located. It's right in the center of campus. And, of course, the beautiful Tom and Robin Edwards Arts and Humanities Building, which the Edwards donated several years ago, is a beautiful building that displays all of our arts and humanities classes and all. The sciences are important, and Cathcart Smith Science Center is right across from the humanities, and all of it's done in brick, lots of green space. It is truly one of the most beautiful campuses I've ever been on, and we would invite people to come see us, come visit with us.
Absolutely. Danny, lastly, you think about, it sounds clearly the answer, that one of the biggest inspirations, again, you go back to that 19-year-old, the motorcyclist. Inspirations for you now as you're preparing for the Heart Walk, a little less than 3 weeks. What are some of the things you're doing to pump up the 25 folks this week?
Absolutely. We're just talking about, how different ways can we get the message out? And how can we get out and ask people one-on-one to be a part? That's how it happens. To talk to people about it, to share your story, to share your story and say what it really means. So we're going to be trying to do all kinds of things to get the message out across the campus. And, the truth is, it's all about motivation, Greg, and I'll kind of end our time with this. I worked with a president at Kirkwood College named Jim Daniels, and he was a tremendous individual, and he used to always say this: you only keep what you give away. And the truth is, that's what motivates people to make extraordinary efforts in causes like this. It's the understanding that really the only things you really keep and make a difference are the things you give away.
That's great. Danny, thanks so much for being with us
My
this morning.
pleasure.
Great
Thanks,
words.
Greg.
Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Danny Nicholson coming up next. You heard Danny paraphrase Jim Daniels: the only things you keep are the things you give away. Those are key words, but that ties in well to something as small as anything that Danny's given away, which is his phone number, 349-2010, 349-2010. If you haven't been here the last 30 minutes, if you're just tuning in right now, you can give him a call to find out why he's involved with the Heart Walk this year and why it's so important to reach deep, to stretch out, to support the American Heart Association, to find a way. Get out there October 16th, the 13th annual American Heart Walk at Broadway at the Beach. You can call another number, 626-3939, to learn more. Help us save lives together.